He's my son's closest friend, and I knew I shouldn't have let things go this far. Still, the attraction was undeniable and impossible to ignore. I realize many might judge me for my choices, but few understand what it's like to be a single mother at 40. My name is Samantha, and I live in a small town in the heart of the ministry. I run a business, making sweet and savory treats for parties. My ex-husband left me for a younger woman. She's just 26, and I must admit, she's quite attractive. I found out about his betrayal after being married for 15 years. He was my first and only husband, and the revelation shattered me. I shut myself off from any possibility of new relationships after that. For almost 5 years, I've remained completely single. Currently, I live with my 21-year-old son, Liam. I've always taken a liberal approach to parenting. I've never imposed too many rules on Liam because I trust his judgment about what's right and what's wrong. He has always felt free to invite friends or girlfriends over, and I've never minded when he wanted to throw parties. I believe this freedom has strengthened our bond even more. Liam knows he can rely on me, and this mutual trust has fostered an environment of respect and understanding between us. His friends often joke about wanting to marry me or date me, complimenting my looks. I won't deny that I tend to attract attention wherever I go. Over the years, I've received plenty of compliments, regardless of my age. No matter how old I get, I still notice those admiring glances. Sometimes, this level of attention leads to amusing situations, especially during Liam's younger, more carefree days with his friends. Their jokes and comments were always met with my warm smiles since I didn't take them too seriously. It felt nice to know I still had a certain appeal. Now that Liam and his friends are in college, our dynamic has changed. The looks I receive these days are quite different from those I used to attract. Before we dive deeper into this intriguing story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Your support matters. I can easily tell when there's more behind a simple compliment, even though I'm single, and try not to make it obvious. I'm not gullible. I can clearly see when their attention shifts from casual to something more significant. There's one person in particular who has consistently caught my eye, Lucas. At 24, he's Liam's childhood friend and has practically grown up in our home. I've considered him family since he was little. Lucas has always been playful and attentive. For years, he would jokingly touch my arm or make cheeky remarks. I never took it seriously. I thought it was all part of our friendship. However, as he grew older, those playful gestures dwindled and eventually stopped. Still, his presence remained constant, and I couldn't help but notice the attention he gave me. But I always remembered he was my son's best friend. Everything changed last month, specifically at the start of August, when Lucas's mother celebrated her 50th birthday. Since we're great friends, and I've always been close to their family, I offered to prepare the sweet and savory treats for the party at no charge. I simply asked her to buy the necessary ingredients on the day I delivered the food. Lucas came over to help. He not only brought the groceries but also insisted on staying to assist me with the preparations. He explained that since I was doing everything for free, he wanted to contribute in some way. His offer felt genuine and sincere, so I gratefully accepted. With his help, the work went much more quickly as we prepared for his mother's birthday celebration. The conversation flowed easily, thanks to the closeness we had built over the years since he practically grew up in my home. The dialogue became increasingly relaxed and intimate. During the preparation, I'm not sure how we ended up discussing relationships and personal preferences. Lucas mentioned that he wasn't very interested in women his own age. He shared that he had always been attracted to more mature women, finding them to have a unique charm and different perspective. According to him, older women were often less complicated and more open to new experiences, without so many restrictions or worries. Hearing this, I felt a blush creep onto my face, slightly embarrassed. A nervous laugh escaped me, but his words resonated with me in an unexpected way, and I ended up agreeing with him. I pointed out that women with more life experience are generally more open to new possibilities. The conversation deepened, creating an atmosphere I hadn't anticipated, driven by sheer curiosity. I decided to ask Lucas about his vision of an ideal older woman. He grinned and confidently described his preferences. Long flowing hair, beautifully dark skin, captivating green eyes, and a fuller, curvaceous figure. With each detail he mentioned, I found myself laughing uncontrollably. His description was so spot on that it felt as though he was talking about me. When he noticed my reaction, he asked why I was laughing, and I explained that his depiction matched my appearance perfectly. Lucas laughed and affirmed that a woman like me perfectly matched his ideal. The conversation took an even bolder turn when he remarked that guys his age, around 24 to 25, are at the height of their energy and virility. He explained that it's common for young men like him to have multiple intimate encounters in a single night, likening it to a machine capable of performing repeatedly, up to 3 times in a row, without a hitch. The atmosphere between us grew increasingly charged with tension. The way he spoke, combined with the enthusiasm with which he detailed his preferences, made the moment feel provocatively unexpected. Then, Lucas paused for a moment, shifted to a more serious tone, and asked me a question that caught me off guard. What would be your ideal? That question genuinely surprised me. It was something I had pondered not too long ago. My daily routine of managing sweet and savory dishes consumed nearly all my time and energy. I had shelved my own desires for so long that I had almost forgotten to contemplate them. I explained this to Lucas, who admitted he hadn't considered relationships much lately. With my workload keeping me busy, thoughts about dating faded into the background. However, as he pressed me, I began to open up a little more. I shared that if I ever entertained the idea of a new relationship, it wouldn't be serious. Dating or remarrying wasn't appealing to me with men my age. There's always talk of commitment, and I'm not naive. Many end up betraying their partners. What I truly seek is someone who shares my outlook, someone who understands that I'm not interested in a conventional romance. Lucas jokingly suggested he would be the perfect candidate for what I was describing. I was momentarily speechless, feeling a bit embarrassed as I simply watched him. Suddenly, he paused his tasks and unexpectedly began to express his feelings. Lucas confessed that he had always been attracted to me but never found the courage to say so, especially given that he was my son's best friend. I was left utterly speechless, yet I felt something stir within me, a powerful and unfamiliar sensation I hadn't experienced in a long time. The feeling of being desired. My body trembled slightly. Lucas continued to compliment me, claiming that I was wasting my beauty by remaining alone for so long. He admitted to having intense dreams about me and, despite our age difference, felt a strong connection between us. His words took me by surprise, leaving me unsure of how to respond. Noticing my silence and the palpable tension, Lucas tried to ease the situation. He assured me he would understand if I was upset but wanted to be honest about his feelings. He asked me not to take it personally, explaining that he couldn't control his emotions or the dreams he had. His sincerity was hard to overlook. Despite the initial shock of his confession, something within me started to calm down. Lucas moved closer, concern etched on his face. He didn't want his feelings to jeopardize our friendship or his relationship with my son. He simply needed me to know how he felt. I told Lucas that I wasn't upset by his confession and thanked him for his kind words and for finding me attractive. I explained that under different circumstances, things might be different, but he was my son's best friend, which complicated everything. Lucas seemed visibly taken aback by my response but didn't back down. With a grin, he asked for at least a kiss, suggesting it would merely be a friendly gesture. For a moment, I hesitated, but after some thought, I reasoned it was just a kiss. He had been brave enough to confess his feelings. I figured he deserved at least that. I told Lucas I would kiss him, but it would be a simple kiss, nothing more. He agreed to the condition and appeared quite pleased with the idea. However, as he moved in closer, he placed his hand on my waist and drew me toward him. What I thought would be a quick, uncomplicated kiss transformed into something entirely unexpected. Lucas's firm touch surprised me, and the kiss he gave me was filled with an intensity one hadn't anticipated. It was far deeper and more engaging than I could have imagined. Before I realized it, I found myself swept away in the moment, and what should have been a brief kiss lingered, creating a new, almost electric sensation. After a moment, Lucas paused and asked if I wanted to end things. Instead of responding verbally, I kissed him again, signaling my willingness to keep going. From that point on, the kiss deepened, completely transforming the atmosphere around us. Lucas pulled me closer, and before we knew it, we found ourselves on the kitchen floor, utterly lost in the moment. The desire and passion that had built up over time finally erupted. Lucas's firm touch took me by surprise, and the intensity of the kiss left me breathless as our mutual longing intensified. I couldn't fight it. In fact, I didn't want to resist, especially as he began to unbutton his pants. I can't deny that amidst the whirlwind of emotions, everything felt inevitable. The way he caressed my body heightened everything, and as he took off my blouse, the environment around us transformed entirely. When his lips grazed my neck, sending shivers down my spine, he whispered sweetly in my ear, words that made any woman tremble with pleasure. His warm mouth slid from my neck down to my navel, leaving me gasping from the intensity of his touch. His hands, brimming with desire, roamed shamelessly as he explored between my thighs, and I could do nothing but surrender completely. Lucas pulled me in closer, drawing gasps of pleasure from me as I felt him deeply. Our bodies moved in perfect harmony, our breaths heavy and ragged after moments of sweat and surrender. Finally, Lucas reached his climax, and a wave of pleasure surged through him. We lingered for a few moments, trying to catch our breath, as long-suppressed desires exploded in an overwhelming surge of passion. Once everything settled and we got dressed, I was astonished at how normal everything felt, or perhaps even better than before. I had braced myself for an awkward atmosphere that might create barriers, but to my surprise, it had the opposite effect. After we finished preparing the sweet and savory dishes, Lucas approached me again before leaving. He kissed me and mentioned how much he loved everything, hinting that he wouldn't mind repeating our earlier encounter. With a smile, I urged him to hurry home before anyone noticed he was gone. I took the chance to confess that I had also enjoyed it and suggested that maybe we could do it again sometime. Later, when I was home, Lucas began sending me lengthy messages, expressing just how much he enjoyed what had happened between us, adding a layer of anticipation. It took me quite a while to respond. When I finally did, I agreed that the experience had been incredible, but I also stressed the importance of being cautious and discreet, particularly around my son. I elaborated on the necessity of avoiding any behaviors that could raise suspicions, like lingering gazes or inappropriate jokes. The last thing I needed was trouble with Liam. I wanted to maintain the illusion of normalcy and keep our secrets hidden. Thankfully, for now, Liam remains unaware, which is a huge relief for me. I can't shake the nagging fear that he'll discover what happened, that I got involved with one of his friends. I know he would never forgive me. I'm doing everything I can to manage the situation because just thinking about his reaction terrifies me. Since that day, Lucas has been eager to repeat our encounter, but so far, I've managed to resist. However, I'm beginning to seriously consider arranging another date with him soon. I feel conflicted. I don't know whether to continue this romance with my son's best friend or put a definitive end to it. What do you think I should do? Leave your thoughts in the comments and enjoy.